morning. My name is Nina Means. I'm the director for Austin Community College Fashion Incubator. And we are here today for Coffee Talk. This is our weekly session that we do for about 30 minutes every single Monday at 10 a.m. And this is an opportunity for us to talk with you about some of the questions you may be having for us, some of the things that we've got coming up with our own programs, what's happening in the industry. And one of the things that we've done recently is we've actually put out a survey to get a bit more information from you guys about what kind of things you really need support in. And overwhelmingly, you've asked us about product development. We're going to be doing some more specific things in the product development space, but I wanted to give you just a little bit of an overview of something that I think that we can continue probably for the next 3 weeks here, just in brief, overview, kind of broad strokes for you guys, just to talk a bit more about how we can help you kind of think about where it is where you are and how to get to the next step. I think that's really what the whole benefit of being a part of the Fashion Incubator has been really for me, is that, as much as I love working on my own label, as much as I love being able to, work in the fashion industry and in the business of fashion business and technology, I really love helping people, and I really want to help you. And so, the reason why I took this job on was because I really wanted to help support the growth of this local market, this industry here in Austin, Texas, that I believe so much in. There's so many talented people here. And so, we're not just about Texas. Of course, if you're ACCFI Presents from last week, you can go back on our YouTube channel and check out that video. It was a really incredible time to talk with someone who's been in the business, coached by Stanley Marcus himself of Neiman Marcus, really mentored by him, having worked, shoulder to shoulder with, Esprit, the president of Esprit at one point, Perry Ellis, Calvin Klein, and knowing those businesses so intricately is that video. I wanted to talk to you guys about, really product development today. So this is really geared towards emerging designers. I've kind of created a few buckets for us to talk about it. This is something that, whenever I think about emerging talent and emerging businesses, myself having been in that boat before as well, I really, in a lot of ways, I, still developing, what I do. But, I think that we have so much to share here. I feel like we've kind of fallen into a few different buckets. There's those of us who are exceptionally creative and, but have very few technical skills. We may not be able to realize all the really fantastic ideas that we have, but we have those ideas, right? We've got a really clear vision about what our brand could look like. Then we have those who may have exceptional technical skills, and ideas, but they don't really know how to commercialize their product. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then I think that there's some of us who say, I think I know how to commercialize my product. I think I know what I need to do, but I'm not really sure how to sell it outside of my circle of influence. Like, how do I get out of just my immediate bubble of, my followers, or out of the bubble of, just a couple of people that I've met? How do I expand my reach? How do I really scale? How do I grow? And then, I think that there's others who are really just a combination of these three things, but truly don't have the money to grow. There's a capital component to this, right? It's money doesn't just grow on trees. It's like, how are you going to, promote and provide, for yourself, for your family, for the brand, the product, and really getting these things to market. And what kind of resources can you leverage to help do that? What kind of learning do you need? There's so many different things that we would want to get a chance to address here with you regarding this, because it's something that, is common for, entrepreneurs across the board. It's like capital, capital, capital. Where am I going to get the money to do this? But I think designers have some unique challenges, especially apparel designers, in this space, where we really want to help you think about, where I am and what my needs may be regarding getting my product off the ground. So, I think all things considered, maybe we can just kind of consider ourselves looking at, maybe we're creating a capsule. And a capsule is really just maybe a handful of pieces that all work together in a single collection. Maybe you've got one or two material choices that kind of bring that capsule together so it feels really cohesive, feels like it all belongs in the closet of the same person, and something that really makes us feel like it really speaks for the identity and lifestyle and brand that we're trying to communicate with our product. And let's say also that we've taken the time to really refine and deliver these beautiful interior finishes, that we've done beautiful bindings or really nice lining details, or maybe a cool half lining that's got a cool pop color, or something that's happening that just makes it feel new and fresh and interesting. Perhaps you took a minute to look at the New York Times article that was saying, hey, fashion is dead. Or maybe you look at McKinsey reports and look at some of the latest trends about what's happening in terms of sales and what's happening in terms of the pandemic and what do people need. Perhaps that was one of the things that you did. And I'm saying perhaps because I'm hoping that you did a lot of these things, right? We did a lot of research. We were looking at what's happening globally. We were looking at what's happening locally. We're observing how people are living before we sit down and make our product. Right? So regardless of whether you're starting at, I've got a few technical skills, a lot of technical skills I want to commercialize, I need a seller, I need money, where I'm helping us to get started is let's dial all the way back. Let's dial all the way back. And let's focus for just a second about what is it that we're making. I want to talk about these different segments, but before I get into those segments, let's talk a little bit more about what it is that we're making. Without a strong product, we really don't have a lot to talk about. And a lot of that has to do with how we understand the world around us, what's happening with the industry, what's happening with people, and really being dialed in and toned in to what's going on there. We have been in such a unique space. It's so hard to really, just speaking from personal experience, it's so hard to kind of show up in the normal ways, in the ways that you're used to showing up with all of these things going on. We are uniquely isolated, with COVID-19 and how we feel being at home for such, extended periods of time, what it is that we choose to wear, how it is that we choose to put ourselves together. Do we put on makeup? Do we not put on makeup? Do we put on a collared shirt or not? Is it about a t-shirt? What is it that we're doing? And so I think that, as we're looking at how people are living, it's like, okay, what's going to define how they're moving forward, and what is it going to look like for them to move into this next cycle, this next phase of their life? Whenever we did the talk with Ed Jones last week, we were talking a bit more about this metamorphosis and kind of this emergence of color and emergence of, a bit more, maybe a little bit more peacock, a little bit more, flourishing, a little bit more butterfly, kind of people kind of coming out into their own, and kind of showing a little bit more personality through their garments. That may be something to consider. It's like if you were, kind of looking at a particular bucket or a particular space within the market, you may be looking at, does that still fit, with the way that things are going around the world? I think that, regarding, people of color, how do, Black people show up? How do, other races show up in this space? And what are they looking for? How is buying power changing? Who's my customer? And let me reevaluate who I thought my customer was. So this is really an opportunity in the product development space. It really starts with the product and the customer. What's really needed, what's happening in our lives, what's happening around us, so that we're able to be effective in targeting the right product at the right time to, not just to who we thought we were talking to, but maybe even a slightly expanded audience. Just an example of what I'm talking about here is, whenever I designed for American Eagle Outfitters, we would design denim for, our target customer was between 18 and 25. We were the #1 denim brand for that category globally for some time. And, we targeted that age group very effectively. And so you're thinking, oh, I thought it was Levi's. I thought it was, 18 to 25. American Eagle Outfitters had that whole spot on lock. And the reason is because they were hyper targeted in meeting the needs of that specific age group, and having the ability to change quickly with targeting various trends within that market effectively as well. So there's, that's a whole other thing. But I think that what I really wanted to get across here is that, I was telling you that, whenever you put your product out, there's a specific customer who's looking for you there, but there's also additional customers who wind up enjoying what it is that you do. Just because you have a target doesn't mean that it doesn't have the ability to capture the attention of others. It just means that your focal point in your voice is going towards that target customer. So, for example, whenever a mother would come in and shop for their, teenager, even their college age, child, they're actually still buying for, a younger sibling or two younger siblings. And then sometimes they're even purchasing for themselves. So even though the target customer was 18 to 25, there may have been a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old and maybe even a 45-year-old who walked out with a pair of jeans. And so now instead of just selling one pair, you sold 4 or 5 pair. And so this is kind of what we're talking about in terms of, understanding the lifestyle of the product you're making and who goes in to shop it and why. And so I think this is really something that I want you guys to think about, regardless of where you are in your process, and what you understand is that who is buying this product and what's the potential to expand the reach of this product, based on the lifestyle that people are living. So I want to kind of go back to those 3 groups that we were talking about initially, because this is a huge, I teach this class in a 14-week delivery, 4 hours a week, and we go through every single stage of this. And so I'm not attempting in 30 minutes to give you the whole bag, but I do want to give you just a few things to think about that I think will help you to start saying, okay, I am a person who's got a few technical skills, but in a lot of ideas. How do I get started with product development? And then, kind of so on and so on. So I'll go through all 3 of those groups that I mentioned to you at the beginning of my talk, and be able to kind of share with you, hey, if you're in this spot, here's a good place for you to get started. It's really just a place to get started. Same thing with, if you're, more technical skills and ideas, but you're not really sure how to commercialize. We're really in a really interesting space right now where I think that people are really looking for brands to invest in, and people who want to find things that feel special and unique and that really speak to them as individuals. And so I think that creates a huge opportunity for emerging designers to step up and step out with beautiful product that really communicates, to an audience that's looking for newness or looking for a fresh idea, something special. So this is, if you're thinking maybe this is a good time for me, I'm at home a lot, I'm creating ideas, maybe this is your time, maybe this is your moment. So let's talk a little bit about what this looks like. So, I have ideas. Let's see. Here my 3 groups said, so the first group is, I have ideas, but few technical skills. So what do I do? If you are in this bucket, I would recommend that you do 1 and or 2 things. One is, you don't have to know everything in order to create a wonderful product. It's helpful to know as much as you possibly can so that you can help guide and direct those who are supporting you to create product, to be able to actually, realize your ideas. But it is not necessary that you know how to do every single thing by yourself. And I think a lot of people may think that it's important for you to be able to do that. It's more important for you to be an effective manager of contractors. If you are looking to go to market in a product, but you are not particularly savvy in pattern design or digital samples or automated cutting or stitching, even if you can't sew your ideas together. What it will do, though, is that what you cannot do on your own will typically cost you. And so that's something to consider, is that if you aren't doing it, you're probably paying someone else to do it. And if you are doing it, you're probably going to need to find a way to pay yourself and the value of the product that you're making, to be able to recover the time and the effort and the labor that you put into your work. So these are going to be things that, as you're working, you're going to want to keep track of. How much are the materials that you're working with? How much time are you utilizing? And if you're taking too long to do it, like you can only make 1 a day, that's really not going to take you too far. You're going to want to, look at other contractors to help you to go quickly, and to really consider, how much money you need in order to bring your products to market. There are services that are available that can actually help you do this. I actually was talking with a president of another accelerator. They do a lot of really great work for increasing funding for diverse business owners. And so it's really an incredible program that they have. I'm sorry, the CEO. But he was asking me a quick question about his wife who wanted to create, I believe it's like a pajama set, that would expand into an actual collection. I think it's genius because really for where we are right now, it sounds like something that would be really great to make. However, the services that she may need if she's not necessarily a seamstress. I can sew, but I would not consider myself a seamstress. It's really, you're going to want to work with a development agency. So I actually referred him to 2 different development agencies that I'm aware of here locally, as well as some that are domestic, and so there are a few other places that you can look. Makers Row is a really great resource that really categorizes a lot of different services like that. So you're looking for a product developer, or you're looking for design, or you're looking for production support. A lot of them will give you a variety of services that can help you get through basically what we've been talking about on our Wednesday sessions, which is really the technical package, so that you can actually make your garments over and over and over again. So these are really great opportunities for you to get a chance to, to work with a team that's dedicated to your product. And then you can come with the ideas and you can come with the tweaks and updates, but there's actually a dedicated design team to help you realize that do have the skills that are needed. It is more expensive to work that way, but if you have the capital to do so, it's not a bad way to go. Typically, that can run you between $1,000 to $1,500 per style to develop. So that's something that you'll want to think about. And one style is literally one garment, so like one shirt or one pair of pants. And so it's not for the faint of heart. It's definitely one of those things where it's an investment. But if you're investing in solid product that you've already researched, like we talked about before, you understand the lifestyle of your customer, you understand what they need from you, it could, you can land on a product that may be superior to what you could do on your own, which means that you could probably sell it as opposed to having to tweak and retweak and use more resources in order to try to figure it out on your own. So that's something to think about. There's some of us, though, who have the technical skills and ideas, but they're not really sure how to commercialize the product. This is a really key thing because a lot of people are still kind of, trying to sort themselves out here. They're like, okay, well, I'm just going to make it and then I'm going to post it on Instagram. And let me tell you, for a lot of people, that works, sometimes commercializing is just like, hey, I've got a good following. I've got, really great ambassadors. I've got people who, will show it on their site and people who've agreed to tag me, and then, sometimes people are off to the races with that, and so let's just not, turn our nose up, at, social media selling. It's real. People are making good money selling through that platform. However, the algorithms keep changing, the visibility keeps changing. And if you're not adept to that, you can miss out on a lot of visibility. And so there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just as easy as turning on a e-commerce site. You've got to market, you've got to find your customer, and you've got to get them talking to you, and they need to come off of their wallet to pay for it. So in terms of, having the technical skills and ideas, a lot of commercializing your product really has to do with, not just where you show up for e-commerce or for, inside of a store. It's really the process of getting it ready to be purchased. And so a lot of times people will, understand that, I've been a seamstress. This is a really good example. I was talking to a woman who'd been a seamstress for a number of years, but she never actually utilized a technical package. And so she was working feverishly with the seamstress and really getting frustrated with someone that she'd hired to realize her product. She's like, look, I've done this my whole life. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to pass this off to someone else to do this for me. But she didn't realize that her communication style didn't provide her the opportunity to replicate what she had done. Before I can go to a store and before I can go to even my online space, I need to be able to replicate with consistency what I've designed. And so all of that has to happen through the tech pack. And the tech pack makes sure that every single garment that comes off of the line fits within a range of tolerances. And so if you haven't been watching on Wednesday, that's a really great place to go. So go and watch on Wednesday. You can go back to our YouTube channel and watch our Wednesday sessions, Workshop Wednesday, where we talk about technical design, we talk about tech packs and all the different components that go into it, because this is really what's going to allow you to commercialize. If you can't replicate with consistency what you've bought or what you've designed, people are going to get really frustrated when they buy your product. And that's something that you really can't afford to do. Have you ever gone to like a store online and have felt like, I really wanted to be able to, create a product, or no, I wanted to buy a product. And then whenever it arrived to my home, either the color wasn't what I thought it was going to be, or the fit wasn't as good, or the quality was really shoddy. And I was like, wait, one, I paid X amount of dollars for this and I was expecting something else. Two, if I knew that it was going to be this kind of flimsy, I may not have invested in it. And so now it's going back. So, these are all things that are going to add to the cost back to the designer. Return fees, reshelving, all those things where you're having to process it. So commercializing, before we can even really talk about putting you into multiple stores, it's really about making sure that you understand how to make more than one of your product consistently. And so that's really where we talk about technical design and really learn how to keep track of your product. We'll be introducing you to something called product lifecycle management software. And that's really key as well, to be able to keep track over the long term, not just of your styles, but of all of the different contractors and people that you're working with to kind of converge and communicate in one central location. It's going to change your life. It's going to make things so much easier. And it will help you land product consistently every single time. So we really want to help you to learn how to do that. The other thing is, we're kind of rounding out this time. So, you know me, I like to cram as much information into these as I possibly can. My goal is, hey, if I can share something with you that's going to help you get to the next level, then, so be it. We're trying to build a market here. And the more people who are succeeding, the better we're doing, and so we want to see you thrive. So really the last group that I'm looking at here is, I think I know how to commercialize my product, but I don't know where or how to sell it outside of my immediate circle of influence. So let's say you are, those technical skills, however you've decided to manage them, whether you're doing it yourself or you're working with a contractor, you've got an idea, you've got a cohesive collection, that capsule that we were talking about earlier, all the pieces work together, the fabrics are sumptuous and beautiful, the colors are just right, it is speaking to your customer, you know how to replicate it, you've got these beautiful tech packs where, your stitchers and, factories know exactly what to do and how to make that product again and again with consistency and quality and beauty that your customer has come to expect from you as a brand. And so now you're telling me, I am selling effectively to my friends and my family and to the people who follow me on Instagram, and they love me there. But it's time for me to grow. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of this circle. Or I need to make my circle bigger. How do I do that? So this is really where we're saying, okay, now it's time for us to update your model and your strategy of how you're meeting your products to your customer. A lot of times what we do is we actually have you compound your audience by leveraging the audiences of others. And this is going to be something that we talk about in a lot more detail. This is something that we do in our Designer in Residence program. So if you haven't taken a look at our link on our website, it's at austincc.edu/Fashion Incubator, and you can actually apply to the Designer in Residence program. And we go into a ton of detail during our sessions and our times with our designers about how do you expand your reach and get your product outside of your immediate circle? How do you actually grow your sales? How do you make your brand really, put it in the space of, can we become a brand that's recognized? Can we become something that is now a lifestyle essential? I think the answer is absolutely yes. So what we're trying to do is to help you do that. So what I would recommend is take a look at some of the additional resources that we're doing. We want to make a huge difference in our local market, our domestic market, our global market, in terms of how the fashion industry is growing. Emerging talent, I believe, is really the way forward. The way that we're dressing and the way that we want to grow, the way that we want to actually pull our lives back together after this pandemic, I believe is really going to be guided by special niche audiences that are now kind of growing into these spaces that speak clearly to your audience. So, this is a really great opportunity for emerging talent to really, I would say, strike while the iron is hot. I'm looking at, what can I do to get back out there? A lot of people are like, are you going to put out another collection? Are you going to do another capsule? And I'm like, oh, there's so much happening. Guys, if you only knew, there is so much going on. But let me tell you, I would love to put out another collection. And, I think right now, my genuine desire for our market and our industry is that, I'm going to help as many people get over the wall as possible. And then I hope you guys will help pull me up too. How about that? I think this is still an opportunity for me to be in a supportive role. We'll put out a few pieces here or there, but right now it's really about getting this industry going. So what we want you to do is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for our coffee talks where we're talking about business and fashion and product development. On Wednesdays when we're taking you through technical design and helping you understand how to build an effective tech pack. This is really just kind of a toe dip. Again, they're 30-minute sessions, so they're easy for you to do. You can pop something, a earbud in and listen while you're sending out, a few other emails or, watch more intently, with us. But this is an opportunity for us to share with you, what else is going on. If you jump on our email listserv, we don't see you guys that often on emails, so don't worry about getting bombarded with emails from us. However, we will let you know whenever we've got new activities coming up, new classes being launched. We're taking everything virtual, so you can see us here whenever you want, as frequently as you want. But it really helps us to know that you're here and you want to be a part of, our community. So we're looking forward to supporting you as you develop as a designer, as you build your brand, and connect you with incredible resources. So I can't wait to share with you all the great people that we've got a part of our team. I want to say thank you again to Julie Martin, who's our administrative coordinator, who makes all of this happen. I also want to say thank you to Michelle Washington for content creation and Michelle French, who handles all of our production for all of our product that we were able to put out and support a lot of the COVID-19 relief, as well as supporting our essential workers with face coverings, at our college, and also some others as well. So we're looking forward to doing some really great work. We're so excited that you're here with us. If you want to follow us on our social media handles are at ACC Fashion Incubator. This is something that it is a pleasure for us to do. We want to give you the content that you're looking for. So feel free to continue to share those details with us via email or just drop a note in the chat, and we will see you guys back here on Wednesday. Just a quick note, we are going to lay off of July 3rd, which is the Friday. We're really going to just say, hey, you know what? This is 4th of July weekend, so it is the holiday, so we're going to be back on Monday. So it'll be Monday, Wednesday, no Friday, and we'll be back on Monday again. So thanks again, guys. It's a pleasure to see you. So glad to get a chance to check in. And we will sign off here for Coffee Talk. So thanks again. Bye.